Let me take you back 25 years. I was 38, newly widowed, standing in a tiny apartment with a 6-month-old baby on my hip and a bank account that read $11,400. My husband had died suddenly. No life insurance, no savings. Just debt and a stack of sympathy cards that smelled faintly of lilies and guilt. People came and went, offering advice they didn't really understand. Everyone told me to sell the few tech shares he'd bought as a joke in the 90s. Get rid of them, they're worthless, they said. I didn't. I held them. I added to them. Quietly. Every bonus, every extra shift, every skipped vacation went into those shares. Every cent I could scrape together, I invested. No one watched. No one cheered. It was just me, a tiny baby, and a quiet belief that sometimes, if you wait long enough, the world pays attention. By the time Isabella was 10, those worthless shares had turned into millions. By the time she was 20, hundreds of millions. Yet I never moved out of the small apartment. I never bought the flashy car. I kept the same winter coat for 15 winters, patched in corners, the color fading into a gentle gray. I found joy in simplicity, in watching the world hustle and panic while I quietly accumulated my little empire. Because I had learned something the world usually only teaches the hard way. Real power doesn't announce itself with noise. It watches. It waits. It smiles politely while people dig their own graves. And it waits some more, until the moment when patience and strategy become visible to those who never thought you could have them. Fast forward to last spring. Isabella, my brilliant, kind-hearted girl, fell in love with Julian Whitmore, the fourth. Old money. The kind of money that has family crests on the silverware and portraits of great-grandfathers who looked down on people for sport. Julian was actually lovely, polite, attentive, smart, treating my daughter like gold. You could tell he had been raised to recognize genuine worth, even if it didn't come wrapped in gold or silk. But his mother, Caroline was a different species. From the very first phone call, she spoke to me like I was a project, something to manage rather than a person to know. "We'll have a driver pick you up for the engagement dinner, dear. We know public transport can be so tiring," she said, her voice honeyed but her words sharp. "We've chosen a very simple menu, nothing too rich. We wouldn't want you to feel out of place," she added, as if she were ordering a delicate antique china plate rather than speaking to a woman. Every sentence dripped with pity, gift wrapped as kindness. I could have corrected her immediately. I could have sent a casual photo of the Lancaster penthouse terrace at sunset, maybe even a casual line about our summer home in the Hamptons. But I didn't, because I remembered the world's behavior when they thought I had nothing, and I wanted to feel it one more time, the raw, unfiltered version. I wanted to watch it play out, to see people's assumptions, their whispers, their misguided kindness. It was a lesson I had earned, and I intended to savor it. So I let the myth grow. I let Isabella believe I still clipped coupons. I let her worry about my heating bill. I let her tell Julian, in tears, "Mom's too proud to accept help." And I watched Caroline's guest list fill with people who would look through me instead of at me. The night of the engagement dinner arrived. The Whitmore Estate in East Hampton, 300 acres, a driveway that felt like it could swallow a small village, valets in white gloves, ice sculptures of swans melting under fairy lights. I arrived exactly as expected. 20-year-old black wool coat, frayed at the cuffs, scuffed leather flats, hair in a simple low bun, and in my hand, the ultimate insult, a white plastic grocery bag from the local market folded neatly to look like a purse. Caroline greeted me at the grand double doors. She actually hugged me like I might break. "You poor thing! You must be freezing in that old coat. Come in, come in. We've put you at the family table right next to me," she said, her smile perfect, her pity palpable. The evening unfolded like a slow-motion car crash. First course, the whispers. "Did you see her shoes? Bless her heart, she brought her own bag." Second course, the stories. Caroline, loud enough for the entire table. "When Julian was at Harvard, we bought him the penthouse on Commonwealth Avenue. Fully furnished, of course. We believe children should never worry about rent." She tilted her head with that condescending kindness that suggested I could never comprehend such generosity. "I'm sure you did the very best you could, darling." And then came the envelope, cream-colored, printed on Whitmore head letter. She slid it across the damask tablecloth with the precision of a general deploying troops. A standing offer of $5,000 per month, wired discreetly, on the condition that I limit unplanned visits and refrain from discussing finances with the couple. In other words, take the money, stay quiet, and vanish. I held the envelope, turned it over in my hands like it was sacred, and said softly, "Caroline, this is the most generous thing anyone has ever offered me. Thank you." She beamed, actually beamed, victory shining in her eyes. Julian looked embarrassed. Isabella stared at her plate, cheeks red. Dessert arrived, individual chocolate soufflés with edible gold leaf. That's when I stood. I didn't raise my voice. I simply tapped my water glass once with a spoon. The string quartet stopped mid-phrase. 50 faces turned. I took my phone out of the plastic grocery bag, unlocked it, and laid it flat on the table so the screen faced Caroline. Balance visible to the entire table. $182,447,103.22. Available today. The room inhaled as one organism. Then I spoke, slow, deliberate, almost tender. "Caroline, please keep your $5,000. I'm afraid it won't cover even 1 month's maintenance on the tiny condo you've been so worried about. You see, that building you drive past on Park Avenue, the one with the private elevator that goes only to the top floor, that's mine. The entire 48th floor, 30 rooms, wraparound terraces. I bought it the same week your husband's offer was declined. This plastic bag," I reached in and produced the Black American Express Centurion card, then the spare key fob to the building. I find handbags get in the way when I'm carrying groceries for the neighbors. Old habits. The caterer appeared at that exact moment with the final bill on a silver tray. $38,400. I tapped my phone once, paid, added a $20,000 tip. The screen flashed green. Caroline's champagne flute slipped from her fingers and shattered like ice on marble. I continued, still gentle. "The wedding venue you booked, the one with the cute garden gazebo, it's lovely for garden parties. But I took the liberty of reserving the Palace of Monaco for the real date. The jet is fueled. The palace staff has already been instructed. Isabella, darling, we'll need something that photographs well against 18th century frescoes." I turned to Julian. "Julian, you are welcome, of course, but your mother just paid me to vanish from my daughter's life. I'm afraid I don't come that cheap." Then, to the entire room, "Thank you for a lovely evening. The soufflé was divine. Please enjoy the rest of the wine. It pairs beautifully with humility." I kissed Isabella on her forehead, whispered, "Whatever you decide, I'm here, always." Then I walked out. Same old coat, same scuffed shoes, same plastic bag swinging at my side. But every step echoed like a queen leaving a throne room she never needed to sit on. Behind me, silence. then the sound of Caroline Whitmore sobbing into gold leaf chocolate. 2 hours later, in my tiny penthouse, Isabella texted, "We're eloping next Saturday. Just you, me, Julian, and the ocean. And Mom, thank you for teaching me what real wealth looks like." I poured tea, looked out over the city I quietly own pieces of, and smiled. Some women buy diamonds. I bought the single most expensive lesson the Whitmores will ever learn. Never pity a widow who carries her empire in a plastic grocery bag. Because the truth, the lesson I had learned at 38 with nothing but determination, patience, and foresight, is this: wealth is silent. It doesn't shout. It waits, it teaches, and the moment you reveal it is not for bragging, it is a statement of understanding.